Hey, how's it going? My name is Nick Green, Hollywood on Trail. Today we're going to be going over one of the most important parts of your backpacking trip. Your backpack. Alright, so I'm going to preface this the way I do a lot of my videos, especially when I'm reviewing gear. Your pack is extremely personal. Just like all of your gear is personal. So nothing I say here should persuade you or dissuade you from doing something that you really want to do. I'm simply pointing out a couple of things that worked for me and the pack that worked for me, and maybe it opens up a couple of ideas for you. All right, with that being said, the pack of my choice is the Osprey Atmos 65 liter. I'll go ahead and address the obvious. A 65 liter pack is a relatively large pack for modern through hiking. If this was like 30 years ago, even 10 years ago, you might say, oh, 65 liters, yeah, not so bad. Now people are getting away with like 30 liter packs and things like that. But I'm gonna go over a couple of reasons why I like the larger pack, especially this Osprey pack in particular. This pack weighs about 4 pounds, 6 ounces, and it's a small to medium frame pack. If you get the medium to large, it weighs a couple ounces more. So, as you see, 4.5 pounds could be a lot, especially when you're reviewing other backpacks as well. But what I found was that their anti-gravity system, if you don't believe it, there it is. Can you see that? Maybe, maybe not. It says anti-gravity. What that means is that you're displacing a lot of the weight, not only on your back, but on your hips, and it's actually like wrapping around you, so it's getting your core as well, and really engaging other parts of your body instead of just your back. So you don't necessarily feel those 4 pounds, 6 ounces the way you would other packs that don't have this system that really just bear hug you. With that being said, it actually took me a minute to get used to the bear hug style. The first couple of weeks I was trying this pack out years and years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I actually don't think I like it wrapping around me so tight. But I gave it a shot, I stuck with it, and actually it's incredible. It feels so comfortable, it conforms right to your back. I like a little bit of lumbar support, which it has, but not so much. Sometimes you get a pack where it's like pounded you in the back, and some people love that. For me, I like a more smooth contour to my back. So if you see here, these things really wrap snug and nicely around your waist. And once you put it on like this, tighten it up, it's not going anywhere. I mean, this thing is truly snug on you. That's not to say it's cutting off circulation or anything like that. It's only to say that I feel really comfortable. I feel like it's a part of my body, which for a pack, I mean, what else can you ask for, right? This thing holds the weight really, really well. I never felt like it was a burden, like it was too heavy for me to carry, even though my pack with full water and full food resupply was about 35 pounds. I brought my camera gear with me, which added 6 pounds to my pack, and I didn't want to sacrifice any of it. I opted for this heavier pack that would carry the weight a little bit heavier. Sometimes you can get these really, really lightweight packs that can be phenomenal for other people, but once you start loading in weight, like camera gear and things like that, you start to realize, wow, this pack was really not meant for people like me to bring all this weight. Thus, it doesn't really feel so well, and I'd rather go with something a little bit sturdier. Speaking of sturdy, this thing is so freaking durable. I got this about 4.5 years ago, something like that. Took it on thousands of miles, including an Appalachian Trail through hike, and it is like still in top-notch condition right here. There are like very minimal spots where the mesh, I can't even find it. Oh, here it is. Where the mesh ripped like, there it is, ripped like a little bit, and I think I was like using a knife or something, and I just kind of like did that by myself. It wasn't even the stuff that was inside of it. It was my own fault. But other than that, this thing is in like perfect condition. I'm gonna be using it for years to come. Nothing in this world is perfect, so I'm gonna point out a couple of the spots that actually I dislike about this pack. It's nothing too crazy, but it should be mentioned. There are 2 things that pop out to me that I dislike about this pack. Number 1, opening and closing the hip belt pockets suck. As you can see, you cannot do it really with one hand. I kind of have to go over with this hand, pull down, come up, and it still kind of sticks. And finally it closes. So you can see it was kind of a mission. I typically stick my cell phone in this pocket, and then in this pocket I'll have something, well, I have my keys in here right now, but I have typically like bars to eat, some snacks, something like that, and my knife. So I actually kind of want to have easier access to this thing, clearly, and it just doesn't work. Now, they may have fixed this on newer models, but on this one, it certainly is a hassle. I got used to it. It was nothing that ruins the pack for me, but it is something to consider. If you're like, no, I have to have hip belt pockets that open and close easily, then maybe this pack isn't for you. Although, check out the newer models. I'm not sure if they improved that. I hope they did. The second thing I disliked about this pack is it doesn't stand up by itself. Watch that again. Here it is. And it falls right down. I always saw through hikers kind of just like drop their bags, go off, do something, look at a view, and the bag just stays up nice and perfectly. For whatever reason, the way that this is shaped and the way that it holds the weight, it just kind of leans forward a little bit. It's nothing too crazy, but it does fall right over. Now, the way I got around that was that I put my Crocs right here and I would strap them in, and it would kind of like lean against the Crocs and then make it nice and upright just like that. It would try to fall, catch on the Crocs, and then stand straight up. But without something right here wrapped around these loops, it probably will tilt right over. So, you know, again, not the end of the world, but something to consider. I can't think of another thing I dislike about this pack. I know that sounds crazy, but I really can't. Those two things were the only things out of the entire pack situation that I disliked. Again, if 4.5 pounds is something where you're like, that is a crazy amount of weight, I want a 1 pound pack, then this might not be for you. But everything else I absolutely loved about it. So let's actually dive in and take a little tour. All right, there she is. We already discussed the hip belt issues, but there are 2 of them. Here's the inside, the anti-gravity system on the inside, and how that mesh just really wraps around. If you see, you can't even really open it so much. It really wants to just wrap right around you. It has a place to store your reservoir and a little holder like that for when it comes out. There's a place inside that I will show you. Right here, there's a little pocket to store a reservoir if you're into that. A lot of people don't use the reservoirs. Again, I've said this over and over, which I think is crazy. I love the reservoir. So if you are a reservoir type of person, Camelback, Osprey, something like that, you're gonna wanna have a pocket inside, and this one has it. All right, I always have my compactor bag in here. Here's what the inside looks like. Tons and tons of room, obviously. It does fill up rather quickly, quicker than you wanted to, but there is a lot of room in here. And if you wanted to, there is a way to get in from the bottom as well. One thing I should note is that I took the brain off of this pack. Right here, on top of this, there was a brain, and I took it off. I found that I didn't need the extra space, and I wanted to cut just a little bit of weight if I could, and this thing was so nice and sleek that I felt I didn't need it. So you have the option of just using this thing as the brain and then the drawstring here. I found that's all I needed. Turning it around, there are 2 side zippers, plenty of room inside each zipper, just like that. One over here and one over there. Again, this thing is massive, tons of room to put whatever you want. In front, there is the mesh pocket, which I found really beneficial. I kept all my water stuff in here, my filter, you know, my Canuck there, everything like that. This is a rain skirt that I won from Alda, and it clicks up right there. I kept this little carabiner. Actually, I think I had a smaller carabiner on there. I found they came in handy every now and then if I was hanging something, whatever I needed. A little carabiner would be good. This one's a little, I would say superfluous. I don't think you need something that big, but a smaller one might be a nice touch as well. I always kept it right here. It's good for if you're drying clothing or something like that. You can always wrap it around this thing as you walk, whatever you need. Just kind of utility tool. On each side, there is a water bottle holder that you could either put this way or turn it around and put it this way. It's a little bit of an easier access as you walk to pull it out this way, but with the reservoir that comes right out of here, this Camelback, or I use an Osprey as well, you don't really need the easy access. This is just to refuel. I just use this as another bottle, or more typically, I use this smart water bottle right here, and that's how I filter all my water. I attach my system right there. If you want to learn about how I filter all my water, go ahead and click this video, I don't know, somewhere up here, and it'll tell you my favorite filtration system on trail. You'll see how that's done. Also, these hip belt straps were super, super long when they came. They were like out to here. And for me, in my frame, they were just kind of like dangling down. So I always had to like tie them in a knot until Moxie went ahead and cut them and made them nice and pretty. She did a great job. Moxie was the caretaker at Blackburn Trail Center. She's an awesome person and I appreciate her for it. I still think about her whenever I wear this pack and I don't have to tie my straps. And that's about it. No other real bells and whistles to this thing. It's as minimalist as Osprey probably comes at this point. There's not too much razzle dazzle with this thing. I found it to be just the essentials that I wanted. I just certainly didn't need any more, and I wanted just this much, if that makes a little bit of sense. I was willing to sacrifice a couple ounces, maybe even pounds, in order to get this pack. So if you want to see how I pack this bag, go ahead and click this link, I don't know, somewhere up here. That'll tell you how I pack this pack. If you have any other questions, please comment below or reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you and answer anything you got. I'm happy to hear what you have to say. Maybe you have this pack and love it. Maybe you have the pack and hate it. Let me know either way. Maybe you have a new pack that you want to suggest to the world. I'll be happy to take a look at that as well. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get all the up-to-date content that I'm putting out. As the name of this channel would suggest, I think just as what you carry in your soul is important, the pack that you carry is also really important. It's your livelihood. It's your whole world on your back. So make sure it's something that you really enjoy. I happen to really enjoy this pack here. I hope to see you on trail soon. And remember, if you can't carry it in your pack, specifically your Osprey Atmos 65 liter pack, or your soul, you don't need it.